Okay, so in this video I'm going to address some conversation that has been running around since the very beginning of the launching of this camera. I'm talking about the FX30, and in this video we're going to discuss it, why you shouldn't be using S-Log3 for low light conditions, specifically for this camera, and you should be letting the camera do its job, recording maybe in S-Cinetone or maybe in no picture profile, or maybe trying to do HLG2. This right now is the video coming out of the camera straight with no picture profile. I have one light over here which is at 10%, the other backlight here that it's red, it's at 10% also, and I have the Xeon Fire Ray 100, the strip light, at 1%, and it's about 4100 Kelvin, something like that. I white balance it, so at least we have good white balance, which is very important to have good video to start point if you want to do some grading to it. You want to get creative with it. Okay, so right now we are using the S-Log3 Cine EI mode. We are at the 800 ISO in the camera. We set the same settings for the exposure, for the iris, the aperture of the lens, the shutter speed, and the frame rate. Everything is the same, and we should be looking some difference here in noise level. So right now with these settings we are at the same exposure pretty much, because it's pretty much the same settings, and we need to see if there's any performance improvement versus S-Log3 versus using the camera plain with no picture profile and let it work itself for a exposure of 0.0. Okay, so thank you very much for staying up to this point of the video. I promise to make it more fast-paced. So right now I'm in DaVinci Resolve. I'm in a Mac computer. I already did all the settings to have it like properly show me the colors. If you haven't seen tutorials about how to fix the coloring in the Macs, you need to go here and set to Rec 709A. Okay, and also you need to go to the Resolve properties and go to the general settings and select these two. So use Mac display color profiles for viewers. All this said, let me show you the difference between the footages that I took a minute ago with the FX30. The thing that I want to show you here is how the video looks. Look at this. This is the video taken with the camera. I'm gonna lower the volume because it's gonna be very high if I start talking in the video. So I'm gonna set it in OBS to -30 dB. So it starts rolling, and as you can see here, let me show you just on full screen right here how it looks. What do you see? I'm seeing an average image. There's nothing like too wow about it. It's just a good scene with the red lighting back there. As I mentioned in the video, it's a very dark scene because I'm using very low power lights, and it's something to create that atmosphere compared to a wedding venue or whatever. So you can see here it looks great. My face is properly showing my characteristics. I don't know how you want to say it. And the thing that I need to show you here is that it's the same settings as the S-Log3 mode that I'm about to show you. So this, as I can show you here, I haven't made any color correction or any grading. That's the straight footage out of the camera. And this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna show you something very important here, that it's gonna be the amount of noise. So let me just set to actual size and roll a little bit to this side here. Look at this. This part right here is the more with more characteristic, maybe because it's shadows and there's some light. My face, there's nothing to say about it because I expose to 0.0 to my face. So it's in my face, there's not to talk about. But here, this part right here that I'm moving my cursor in, that's the part that I need you to pay very good attention when I switch to the S-Log3 part. So in the S-Log3, the first thing that we need to address is that we don't have like color, we don't have anything. The camera just did a straight gamma curve with the S-Log and the Sony S Gamma 3.Cine, and it's a great, and it looks, I mean, it doesn't look noisy, or is it? It does look noisy. Look at this. Look at this part. This is the shadow of my hand. And as you can see here, I haven't graded it yet. And you can start seeing all that little dots there dancing, or that pixels dancing, as I mentioned, as I said myself, when it's noisy an image. Look at this. You have a lot of color noise here because of that. I need to be very clear about this. It's the same settings, same exposure settings. The only thing that I changed in the FX30, it's the Cine EI mode. So the gamma changed to S-Log3, and the gamma changed for S-Log3, and the color profile is sgamma3.cine. Effects, and yes, the gamma is the S-Log3, and the color space is the Sony sgamma3.cine. So here I have two different corrections, if you want to call that. I'm using the color space transform, which in my opinion is the best way to grade S-Log3 footage from your cameras. I mean, Sony profiles, Sony LUTs are good to like having at start point, but I think that you lose a little bit of that manipulation when you use your LUT, because you don't know what the LUT's doing. But when you do a color space transform, you have more control over the log image, and then you can tweak the space transform process. So right here, I have the color space transform, and as you can see here, if I turn on the color space transform, it's nothing there. I just changed from Sony sgamma3.cine and S-Log3 to Rec 709. That's all I did. That's all I did, okay? So you can see here that the image, it's very, very dark compared to the other one. And again, it's the same exposure settings. I'm at ISO 800. I'm at aperture of f1.4 with the Sony 50G lens, and I'm with the exposure on 1/48, and the capture is at 24p. Look at this difference. Look at how darker the image is, even though it's the same exposure settings. So here you're losing, I don't know how many stops of light. Look how the histogram jumps. I mean, look how the parade jumps, and let's look at the waveform. Look at this. This is the waveform of the S-Log converted to Rec 709, and this is the waveform of the Sony footage. There's a lot of difference. Look at this. Look at the shirt right here that I have, and you can even see detail of the wrinkles of my shirt, because I don't iron much. And look at that. And you see noise over here? That's curious. Look at this. It's a very, very clean image. That's straight out of the FX30. Look at this. This is very dark. You cannot see much detail in my shirt, of course. It's very, very dark. Look how compressed the waveform is. And if I move over the same area right here, you can see how much noise we have. So what's going on? I think this is very specific of the input gamma, okay, of the gamma capture space, because of this is not meant to be used with dark scenes. That's what I mentioned at the beginning of the video. You shouldn't be using S-Log3 when shooting low light video, because this is what is going to happen. Hell, even if you're recording in bright sunlight, if you have very hard shadows when using S-Log3 and you have very hard shadows, those shadows are going to be noisy, even if you're using the S-Log in the 800 on the 2500. Now, this is the base ISO. This is the base low ISO, which is less noisier. What will happen if I were recording in 2500 ISO? This noise is going to increase, because even though if the same base ISO and it's the same voltage to the sensor and it's the same noise, I think it's harder. So if you go by some mistake, you're not recording in Cine EI and you have the flexible ISO, or you have the Cine EI, the quick Cine EI, which the one that you can if you move the ISO, it does move and affects the exposure. Look how much noise you're gonna have. I think there's some videos out there that show how much noise there is when you switch from 2500 to the next lower ISO, which is 2000, if I'm not mistaken. So look at this. I'm gonna leave you with just the image right here that shows you that the color space transform is showing us. This is the image right here, and this is the image with no S-Log3. So I think that this is more workable. I think you can, I mean, obviously you don't have the advantages of using S-Log3 to compress highlights or increase shadows or whatever. But I think this is a better starting point if you're recording in low light conditions to have this. Maybe I can add another node here and compress a little bit more the shadows. Maybe, well, this is the S-Log, the log curves. Let me just go here with the lift. Maybe I want to make it darker. Okay, well, I make it darker. It's fine. I mean, I have no problem there. Maybe the midtones, I want to increase them a little bit. And as you can see here, just small adjustments are good enough to go. You don't have to do much. So let me just add another one to add maybe some contrast and increase the detail just a touch, because it does come with some detail with this picture profile. And there you have it. I mean, it's the same low light conditions. It's the same low light condition, and look at all that difference, all that light sucked in by the gamma color, the gamma curve. So that's why I don't think that it's a good idea to be recording S-Log3 in dark scenes, because there's some witchcraft in the S-Log3 gamma curve that it's gonna take all that light and it's gonna compress it, because S-Log3 it's made to compress highlights, to save detail in the highlights. So that's why this is happening. So don't use S-Log3 with low light conditions. Just use your camera as if you were taken out of the box, and that's it. That's gonna be a better performance in my opinion. And you can see here is the same settings. I promise you, I didn't move any setting of the lighting. It's just the same. Look at this. I'm shocked as you are, man, because this is the first time that I'm seeing this live and compared side by side, and I'm using my computer at all the brightness, and I see very dark this scene. This is super dark. Look at this. Hell, look at this noise. My goodness. So there you have it. I think this video is very shocking for you guys. Maybe some of you don't, who already knew about this, but it's okay. I mean, um, uh, there's something, maybe there's something that I didn't know about the S-Log 3 curve gamma that professionals do know about, and I didn't know until I make this test. But yes, I'm never using S-Log 3 again in low light conditions. This is, no man. And let me just turn off the color space transform and turn on the Sony lot, and it's a little bit brighter, you see, but I think this one is noisier. Yeah, this one shows a little bit more noise than the other one. But still, look at this. I'm gonna reset all these settings here. This is just the image as is. You can see here, this is the Sony lot, and this is the straight out of the camera footage. So there you have it. I'm not gonna say anything more. Just look at this waveform, how that works, how that jumps. All right, hope this helps. And if you have any questions, if I'm wrong in some measurement, please let me know in the comments. If you have any secret formula to use S-Log3 in the FX30 that doesn't give you much noise, which I don't think there is anything that I can do more, let me know so I can try it. And yes, if there's anything that I'm doing wrong here, just leave it in the comment down below, so people that come here to see this video and have questions, they can see the solution down in the comments below. But yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.